Okay, there we go. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to discuss the future of our summer events, our outreach event, the drill. So here's the deal. I'm going to show some slides real quick. So actually, I'm not going to share just yet. We are, so every year we do a big event. It's a lot of work. When possible, I'd like to capture that effort and get the city to give us something in return for all the volunteer hours that we're throwing at this. For this year, it was money for the website. The website is not a cheap endeavor. We want to build it so that it's very sustainable, gives us what we want, and allows us to grow. And grow in areas like being able to translate our documents into other languages, making us accessible for those with access and functional needs. So ADA compliant, some new functions we don't currently have. Just it's a big upgrade to the website that we currently have. The quotes that Mark and Linda got is running around $35,000. It's not something we can raise funds for. So when I heard that this website was going to cost about 35,000, I immediately thought, well, we need a grant. So the idea was get money for the website by putting in the effort of hosting these 4 drills. So that's the background. Now let me show you the timeline of why we're having to kind of scramble a little bit. Sorry.
And are you saying that volunteer hours count in terms of getting grants from the city? Is that kind of it's the trade-off?
Yes, yes.
There's often a volunteer match, and,
yeah.
and then there's a different formulas for different levels of grants.
It's like 30 or 40 bucks an hour, depending on what you're doing and which city department you're working with. Like this would count as a 6 hours of volunteer time if we sat here for an hour and discussed something about the project.
Right, right.
So, and we're applying to which department?
Department of Neighborhoods.
Oh,
it's
neighborhoods.
Their matching,
okay.
Yeah, matching.
Oh, okay.
And this is the one we've done several times in the past. We all got neighborhood maps one time. I don't even remember what all we've gotten with grants, but this is probably the 3rd or the 4th one I've written. So the grant was due March 10th. These are the deadlines that the Department of Neighborhoods is giving themselves. They're giving themselves 10 weeks to decide on whether or not our project gets funded. So that 10 weeks out from March 10th is May 19th. And then they give themselves another 6 weeks to get the contracts out to us. And so you can't start spending money just because your grant got approved. You have to wait till the contracts are out and you've signed it, and everybody that has to sign it has signed it, and then you can start spending the money. So if they take their 10 weeks to make a decision and their six weeks to get the contracts out, we are way out there, June 30th. That's the first day we could start spending any money. And with the June 7th drill date, that doesn't make sense. So just FYI, on the smaller grants, the $5,000 grants, the smaller ones, the department gives themselves 6 weeks to make a decision. And we've had 2 of them turn around now in a day and a half. So part of it, I think, is those are pretty standard grants. We've done many of them. They're all pretty much the same. You give us $5,000 for a hub box and all the gear, and we'll host an event and bring our community together. So I think they're granted really fast because we've kind of smoothed the process, but I don't know that they're really going to need 10 weeks, but that's what they're saying. So when we submitted it before March 10th, they said, hey, we don't think June 7th is possible. We want you to move it back. So when the grant was submitted, the date I threw in there just as a placeholder was June 20th. It was the second day in our survey with the most amounts. So I don't think even June 20th is an option. I think backing it up is even, it has to happen even more. So, yeah, I, I think so. There's two good reasons to move it out. A, because I think it's going to be more realistic with the funds that are coming in. And B, if we do it in June, we're going to do what we've always done. I'm going to do what I've always done, which is kind of run this thing myself and do it half-ass, honestly. It's a lot of work. I'm not really great at doing stuff ahead of time and running it past people. And at the moment, we don't really have anyone for me to run it past. We have the transition team, but that's it. We don't have these leadership teams organized yet. They're coming, but they're not there yet. So the more we delay this, the more Anne has people to rely on to guide this project, and the teams get experience in what this takes, because this is going to be taken over by these teams. This is the last year I'm going to do it, that's for sure. So it's taking advantage of the fact that we're close to having these teams ready. Can we engage them and get them meaningfully involved in this, so that we're beginning that process of handing over the responsibility to the teams instead of Anne struggling to do it and do it poorly. So, two reasons: it's not realistic, and B, we're missing an opportunity. And to be fair, Linda and Mark both said this a long time ago before the grant was submitted. Like, Anne, this is not a good idea. And I went, no, by God, we can do it. So, yeah, this concern was raised a while back, and I should have listened and just kind of rewrote the playbook on how we do this summer's drills. My statement has always been our battle rhythm is the large network drills in June, and then all the rest of the hubs have July, August, September, October to do their individual drills. So this year's going to be a little wonky just because timing. So having said all that, thoughts about which month we should shoot for. June is out, but I think July, August, September are all in.
As far as the transition team and the other teams that are, what about that, their formation?
I'm going to let Linda or Mark tackle that one.
Thinking about the pace at which we're at, I mean, I would hope that we could have the leads by May and be starting to recruit teams in that May timeframe. So the teams themselves, probably June, July. Is that fair, Linda? Or
It seems reasonable at this point, you know.
So I think July may be rushing it. They would probably not have had much of an opportunity to get put in place. August, September would be a little better, I think, for that.
Hey, Cindy, I'm going to mute you unless you're driving.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think Cindy's on her way home from a meeting. So July doesn't seem feasible.
Right. And just looking at the event calendar, it looked like the latter half of August was pretty clear that hubs hadn't hosted, at least yet, events out there that I saw.
Okay, I'm going to share two different things. And unfortunately, I can't get this on one screen really well. So there are events on the calendar that are marked as private. Cindy and I put those on the calendar just because we think hubs are going to have events. So we're looking at August, and you're right. So here's the weekend. Saturday and Sunday is these two right blocks. There's not a lot in August. Something from Roosevelt. Roosevelt is one of the sites. Ellen couldn't be here, but she and I have both been talking to the church custodian, let's call her that. And Sundays are really difficult. Their churchgoers don't leave the building until 1 o'clock. And So this woman, the custodian, is really reluctant to let us be in the parking lot until her parishioners have left. And even though I've said, hey, we're outside, we're not coming in your building, we just need a section of the parking lot, she still wasn't really keen on the idea of letting us onto the property until about 2 o'clock. So for Ellen's purposes, Ellen and Roosevelt, she would like to do this on a Saturday versus Sunday. Can we talk about that real quick? Any big problems with that?
Seems fine.
So
okay, you're
you-
okay?
you'd been leaning towards Sunday because you thought it was a better day. I think you said you thought people were freer.
I
So
kind of always thought so, but maybe in August it doesn't matter.
You're going to get up against Seahawks football if you get later in August, so on Sundays.
Right.
Also, Ron Angeles does not want a Sunday too because he is looking at having to go over to the church for parking lot because if he's the only hub in Southeast Seattle, and I was explaining to him how everybody's going to come down and play with him, his eyes got really big and he can't do a Sunday in the church parking lot either.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Ron. That's good to hear. I didn't realize Sundays were problematic for you. So there's two hubs where Saturdays are better. MLK, are you guys okay to ask for a Saturday? Sorry, where Saturdays are better.
And just as a reminder, it looks like there's 5 weekends in August because Memorial Day, according to my calendar, is not for another week. The 7th.
Okay.
I'm not saying we should do it then, but just so we know what we're.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the only problem. Go ahead.
I can't.
The weekend of August 15th is the 15th and 16th. That would be kind of hard on Cal Anderson. Sorry, North Capitol Hill because they're doing a USSF the next day. What day is Seafair that weekend? I don't know. And then August 8th is an ACS meeting, and we usually try and respect not doing it on an ACS day.
Okay.
I'm
Lots of dates there.
I'm out on the 29th. I can't. I'll be out of town.
29th of August, Ron?
Yes.
Okay.
But any of the other Saturdays, we're good.
Okay. And then back to MLK real quick. Are Saturdays okay for your location?
My understanding is that MLK is closed on Sundays so that it's wide open. With Saturday, we just have to find out what they have scheduled, and I don't know.
Okay. All right. Thank you for looking into that.
So it says online that the 31st of July to August 2nd is Seafair Weekend Festival. I don't always know all the parts of Seafair and how you got it there. Great.
Right.
How they all come apart.
Yeah. So Seafair is late July, early August. Capitol Hill Block Party is the 7th through the 9th. And then Cindy, there's a skills fair on the 16th of August.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's
in Volunteer Park. Yeah.
And the West Seattle Parade is on the 18th. That makes it kind of weird for West Seattle hubs to do it on that day. Not that the parade's that great, but all our radio assets do the parade. Ugh.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put the calendar back up here and based on what we know, maybe we
August
can.
22nd is the leading candidate, if I'm hearing this correctly.
That's what I'm hearing too.
Okay. Any August 22nd? Any concerns?
You want me to Google, see if I come up with any events that were that weekend? Anything
Please do.
else?
I've been doing
Let me
that,
try.
but yeah, another set of eyes is not going to hurt. Let's get a secondary.
In
Go ahead,
West
Cindy.
Seattle, August 22nd is the Admiral Block Party, and we would typically do an outreach table there, but for the sake of the whole city, yeah, we'll give that up.
Okay. I'd like to pick a secondary date in case for some reason the 22nd doesn't work.
So
You
on
could
this,
contact ACS and ask if the 15th, instead of them doing a regular meeting, which I think they actually sometimes cancel their August meeting, they might be willing to turn it into an exercise day. That would be August 15th, but that still makes it hard for the North Capitol Hill people.
Yeah.
What about August 29th?
I
Um,
don't see any conflicts.
No,
Yeah.
Ron's out of
Ron's
town.
out.
Oh,
I
Ron's.
I
Yeah.
said yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
but
okay.
Thanks, Ron.
yeah, I was checking my calendar again. I'll be here. 29th is good.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if
29th
we
is
had a
okay.
choice between the 15th or the 29th as our secondary date, which sounds better? I'm thinking about heat.
when,
29th.
I don't think it's heat so much. It's when are people on vacation with their kids before school comes back. Does school start in August nowadays?
It starts September 2nd. I checked on that.
the public school starts on September 2nd.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, and this is from AI, so Saturday, September 22nd, the Guess Who at Climate Pledge Arena, a Mariners game in town.
September or
September?
August,
September or
Gabrielle?
August?
Sort of what?
Did you say September or August?
August 22nd. So I
Okay.
was looking at that date because that was the date we were saying might be our first choice.
Okay.
So it says it doesn't look like any huge events, which Anne had already looked and not seen any. So
So the 22nd looks good. But between the 15th and the 29th, any strong opinions one way or the other? Ron's in town. It might be an ACS thing, but Cindy says the 15th might be canceled. ACS might
No,
cancel
no,
it
no, no,
anyway.
no,
The-
no. August 15th, I'm sorry, is West Seattle Club meeting. The problem with that weekend was the skills fair the next day on the 16th.
Right, right.
So if I was having to pick just to, because we all have to help on those skills fairs too, I would pick the 29th as my second choice.
Okay.
But then I'm going to argue with myself. That's the last weekend people have off before their kids go back to school. And I do not know what that does to people's schedules.
Yeah, I don't either.
yeah, there's no perfect date. It used to be, I think, a lot more people were taking vacation in August, but it seems now it's spread out more through July and August. So
Could we put this out as a poll, Anne? Say we're going for the 22nd, but we are looking for between these two dates, what's a backup date? Because we still haven't heard if all the venues are going to be okay.
That seems like the first decision is to check on the 4 venues, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But meanwhile, we can get opinions on the secondary date from other people.
Yeah, let me
and
see how quickly I can get an answer back from all 4 venues about those 3 dates, the 22nd, the 29th, or the 15th. And then I'll put it out to the group and go, this is what we're thinking. Any big heartaches, I guess. Okay, so I'm not hearing a lot of strong opinions one way or the other. I get it. The 15th and the 29th both have issues because of the skills fair, backing up against that, and then backing up against the start of school. I'm not seeing any other conflicts in the list I made. Can we look at July 8th? I'm sorry, not July 8th, August 8th. There's a hub table at the Beacon Arts Street Fair, but that's a very smallish event, and I don't know how certain it is because it's labeled private on the calendar.
And that they could give that up. The other event that might happen that day, and I'm waiting for confirmation, is the Duwamish River Festival. But the problem with the 8th was that's an ACS day. So you could keep it in play, and I'll find out about the River Festival if you talk with ACS.
Oh, I thought the 15th was ACS's meeting.
No,
Okay.
the 15th is the West Seattle Radio Club.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay, it says there's a home Seahawks game that day, which would be an exhibition game, and the time is not set. It seems pretty early. I don't know if they usually have a game quite that early in August. Again, it's just from AI, so who knows? Sometimes
Gotcha.
it's wrong. Um,
And Gabrielle, that's on the 8th, a Saturday.
it says August 8th. Yep.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
it came up, it says Capitol
Is
Hill
it
Block
home?
Party.
Block party. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
just going to bring that up.
And then looks like there's a home Mariners game.
Mark, you're shaking your head for the block party. Is that a big conflict for you guys?
Well, it's a pretty big deal, right? It's a big
it's a
Okay.
event.
very big deal.
Then let's take the 8th off the calendar. The 8th is not an option.
It also says the Obliteride might be that day. That Cancer
That's
Ride.
typically that weekend, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then let's stick with our first choice is July 22nd, and our second choice is vacillating between the 15th and the 29th.
Not July, August.
August. Sorry. I
Yeah.
don't know why I keep saying that. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Everybody okay?
So we can
Okay.
check with our venues and see if they're available on that date,
Yes.
those 3 dates.
Yeah. And I'll put these, I'll summarize this and throw this out to the group that I emailed for this meeting. See if we can't get some feedback really quick. And please let me know one way or the other whether or not it's good with your venue.
And then but we should for sure tell people to stop advertising June 7th.
June
Because
7th.
I
Yeah.
gotta take Mount Baker to take it off their flyer.
Gotcha. Let's talk hours really quick. On a Saturday, what hours are you guys, what appeals to you? We can do it, 10 to noon kind of thing. We can do it earlier in the day because we're not dealing with church getting out. I think earlier in the day is better than later just because it's August and it's hot.
I would
We've
agree
always-
with that, but I wouldn't go earlier than 10 because I don't like getting up that early to schlep all the stuff and set it up.
Yeah.
I think
10
we've
to
always
1?
had it. I think we've always had it. Haven't we always had it at 10 in
I
the
think
past?
so, but I don't know. Let's shoot for
Okay.
10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
That's the open to public hours, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So we would do set up in advance of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I did build snacks, a hefty amount of snacks for the volunteers working that day, $140 per site. So I think that's kind of buying people lunch.
Mhm.
100 you said 100 and what?
$140
Okay.
for like sandwiches and beverages kind of thing for the volunteers, not for the public, but for the volunteers working the event.
Right.
So even though we're going over lunch hour, I don't think it's a terrible, terrible thing. What else? If we get the grant, built into the grant is another session of photography with Sean Earhart, the guy that did our pictures from last year. Linda and I were talking, we think we'd like fewer tight shots and more shots from further away so we can kind of maybe see the process or at least large crowds.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thinking for that. What else? So it's the website, it's the photographer, it's snacks or a meal or whatever. It's banners with our new word mark on it. Very, very universal. Has nothing to do with this particular event. It's banners that we'll be able to use for 20 years. A lot of yard signs, and we'll figure out what that will say. But it's, again, we're trying to buy stuff that will be used for a very long time. It's the 18 inches by 2 feet or whatever yard signs that say something about disaster practice. And then,
do you have any budget for advertising, like flyers, printing stuff?
yes, Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Flyers, 8.5 by 11s and 11 by 17 posters, printed by us because it's typically much cheaper to do it that way. So yeah, that's pretty much, that gets us up to $45,000. So there's not a lot of extra stuff in this grant. Like I said, the website's the big cost.
I'm going to pop out so I can go back and finish the Mount Baker meeting, and I'll catch up with the rest of it. Thanks, you guys.
Gotcha. Thanks, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
What else? If I had to guess, I would say we have a 70% chance of getting this grant. It's a little bit tough to justify spending this kind of money on a website that, in the eyes of the Department of Neighborhoods, does not build community. We're not bringing people together to decide what's on this website. I mean, we are, but we're not bringing in new community members to build this website. We're relying heavily on the volunteers we already have. So in their eyes, it's not super attractive. But that's why we're sweetening the deal with doing these drills. That is where we show that we are reaching out to community members we haven't touched before.
Certainly having language options makes it sweeter for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the hope that
And
we've.
the ADA element, because
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's a community
Fingers crossed.
to talk to. It isn't only ethnic communities. It's
Yeah. So we're hoping.
Yeah.
Linda and Mark did a really nice job kind of wordsmithing and beefing up the language I put in there to make us sound smarter and more organized, and just getting the words in there to get the point across that we really are going to struggle moving forward if we don't get this website. Yeah. I have a lot of hope invested in this website. I think it's going to make a huge difference for us. So I'm done talking. Anything else, guys?
When you do the flyers, are the flyers going to be in different or designed so that, different?
Like Spanish,
Yeah.
Chinese kind of thing. I can ask the Office of Emergency Management if they will pay their contractors to translate. Getting stuff translated is pretty expensive, and I did
Yeah,
not
it
build
is.
that. Yeah, I didn't build it into the budget.
Okay.
What I have seen Department of Neighborhoods do before, though, is when we ask for money for like a $5,000 grant, it's a $5,000 grant, and we've asked for 4,400. They'll just bump it up to 5,000. So it'd be nice if our $45,000 grant just automatically got bumped up to 50,000, and we're able to maybe spend money on translation. And now that we've backed this drill up so much, there is definitely time to do that. So I'll keep it in mind as we move forward.
Okay.
Can we get some, you talked about, I'm not sure what the word you used was, but like the timeless banners. Can you get timeless translation that just says, there's an event that will help you such and such with your family, and the date is insert date. And then that could even be going out maybe in the Department of newsletters when they send it out, or it could be on posters, or it could be in emails. And you have those pieces. I don't know how you've done it before, but you might have to specify you wanted it done that way.
Gabrielle, that's genius. If we pick our words right, we'll be able to use this same messaging for, years to come. Yeah.
We do big drills, but we do local drills too. So if it was generic enough, might get people to come by to something.
Yeah.
You might need some welcome signs in different languages. Just for the location, welcome, they have those signs in 20 different languages. You can probably buy that at the store somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, that's available on Google. That's a really good idea. Okay.
And then we do have the cards. I think when you flip it over, it's got a whole bunch of languages on it. So maybe we think about having those out. Then I don't know what we do if somebody says they speak another language.
We work it out just like we would in a real situation. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good ideas.
There's no perfect date, and you'll just have to, see
Yeah.
what you can get with the venues, right? So you've got, what are the venues? You have Roosevelt, and what's the other one?
MLK Fame, so the Central District kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Ron's down there at Rainier Beach Community Club. I think that's the name of Ron's building. And then West Seattle. And Cindy has not gotten a confirmation from any of her hubs. It'll be in West Seattle somewhere, but I don't know the location.
Okay. And the MLK one, is that at that MLK Community Center? Is that where it is? Okay, I know where that is. Okay.
I picked a spot in West Seattle, and then I threw all these 4 spots on a map, and it is beautiful. I wish I had pulled it up readily. I don't want to keep you guys on the line, but the dots on the map look like we really were smart about placing these strategically through the city. I was really pleased with that. And that'll be on the flyers somewhere. So hopefully we look very, very inclusive and welcoming to everyone.
And I have a question
Mhm.
about street closures. Um, I went on the city's website to, look at that, and it looks pretty complicated, and there's a lot of issues there. One related to insurance, that I talked to Cindy yesterday about it, and it might not be that big of a problem for us. I can ask the community club, because and you have to be a nonprofit
Yeah.
to get a permit. And so I don't think I'll have a problem probably getting the community club to apply for, because we'll have to close off our street.
Gotcha.
Okay. But I just wanted to bring that up for, other folks, that it is kind of a complicated process.
The street closure. Yeah.
Yes.
Ron, I have played with that. My street was not an arterial though. I have done that for my community council a while back, so maybe I can help, or maybe it's changed. But keep me in mind if I can help. And
Okay.
then insurance. In general, so none of our spots are in parks. Everybody's private property this year, which is kind of unusual. As long as Cindy chooses private property, everybody's on private property, and we're not having to deal with parks. What Cindy, I think, was talking to Ron about yesterday was Seattle Parks is maybe requiring us to have insurance when we do drills on their property. It's never been like that. They've always waived that requirement, but we think it's kind of coming back.
Mm-hmm.
To be determined. For this drill, I'm going to double check, but this is how we've always done it. Our insurance that Department of Neighborhoods needs, our insurance has always been given to us by our fiscal sponsor, which will be Seattle Parks Foundation. They take 10% of the budget, but they are our fiscal sponsor, and they cover us under their insurance. So I don't think insurance is going to be a problem for this drill. And Cindy and I are trying to meet with the head of Seattle Parks to figure out this whole insurance thing for other spots that want to do drills in their parks later on, or anytime this summer.
Yeah. Okay.
So to be determined. So I'm going to, this is how we've always operated, but I'm going to double check with Seattle Parks and make sure that their insurance covers us.
And if not, you might be able to have the Parks Foundation buy you a rider on their insurance that covers the event. If you had to do it that way. Yeah. If something wasn't right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I could talk Department of Neighborhoods into just giving us funding for that little bit of insurance in our grant, even though we didn't ask for it ahead of time. Okay. All right. Anything else, guys?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate having. Yeah. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah. Getting back to the teams, that what's the plan for getting the teams together?
We are in the process of selecting the team leads.
Okay.
looking at who wants to do it. Some places we didn't have anybody that wanted to do it, or we had more than one person. So we're kind of trying to figure out. We had some people that volunteer for more than one team. Where do we need them the most? So we're in
Yeah.
the process of figuring all that out. The next time the transition team meets is March 22nd. So in just a couple days, and we will have more progress on that. And I'll report out on the March 26th Hubcap meeting.
Okay. And I'm going to see you on Monday.
I
You're
think so.
coming to my hub meeting.
Yes. Yeah. It's on my calendar
Okay.
for 6. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Ann. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank
On
you,
the
Ann.
court, Mark. I'll see you on the court, Mark.
Okay.
Stay out of the kitchen.
Stay out of
I
the
will.
kitchen.